everyone. My name is Lydia, and I have a little bit of a controversial opinion that I want to share. But hopefully it's not too controversial, because I'm not here for that. I'm really not here for that. But I have shared and do share misinformation online. And some people have an issue with that. Some people think that that is very wrong. And they feel as though everybody, not just like people who are influencers or inspire to be influencers, I don't even like that term, but people in the public eye or who post on public platforms, especially like YouTube, but like they even believe that anybody, the common everyday folk, should just be careful what they post, what they reshare, what they what they do essentially, and that we all have this sort of duty not to share things that aren't true, and they see it as perpetuating things that could be harmful. Now, that is an interesting lens to look at things through. I've definitely heard people talk about that a lot, and so I do get a good idea of where they're coming from, the people who say that. But I personally don't believe that that's the case. I don't believe that we have a sort of, I guess, moral obligation to post things that we've well researched and things that are only moving things forward in society or whatever. I don't know. I post whatever and I think it's kind of fun. Sometimes I'll come across something that I think is mildly interesting as a theory, conspiracy theories, mysteries, just sort of general misinformation, things that Facebook clocks like immediately, so I try not to do that on Facebook anymore because they clock it, they have clocked it, and then they ban you, and it's bad. Facebook is not red pilled, let's just say that. They're not red pilled, and not to say that I am by any means, but I'm just saying they will clock you. They are against anything that is even mildly misinformation. Sometimes things that aren't misinformation, but they just love to I don't know, they really don't hold a whole lot of weight with their reasoning either. They'll clock you on something and then they'll be like, and the reason for that is because you used the word they instead of their, or you misspelled the word there, so it's wrong. And you're like, huh? Like literally very dumb, very. Facebook doesn't hold a lot of weight with their misinformation clocks because they're dumb. They're very dumb sometimes. And then sometimes they do just take down things that they're like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, okay. But I don't know. I think it's kind of fun to share things that I thought was kind of interesting. And sometimes I'll look into something and find out that it wasn't true and be like, oh, okay, that was fascinating to me that ended up not being true, but interesting nonetheless. And I sometimes take them down when I found out that they're not true, but sometimes I leave them up because I'm like, it was interesting to me and maybe it'll send somebody else down a rabbit hole. It's not my view is like, it's not my job to dictate what somebody else's eyes see. You know, it's not my job to dictate whether or not somebody decides to blindly believe something online or research it for themselves. And if anything, to me, I feel like the pros outweigh the cons to something, because people have the right, in this day and age, they have the right to research whatever it is they find online, whatever it is they find online. They can see any sort of post and dig deeper into it. I do this all the time. I love going down rabbit holes. I'll see one post and then I'll dig into the truth of that. And then that'll make me think of different questions. And then I go down that rabbit hole. And by the end of it, I'm on a totally different subject. And I'm like, wow, this was a whole, a whole event. And I find that fun. And if other people don't find that fun, that's okay. But then, you know, they have the right to blindly believe things and not spend the time to research, or to just kind of take everything as, I don't know, you know? I'm not here to dictate what other people believe. And I think if we're all just swimming in the sea of interesting things, and we're not relying on these sort of fact checkers and our fellow man to do their due diligence, and we rely on ourselves to research, I feel like that actually helps society gain more knowledge themselves instead of just relying on other people. Put it in your own hands, you know? And the pros for me are so much greater. Just a second. I'm gonna close that door and get my coffee. All right, I'm back and with coffee and with my dog. But the pros to me are so much greater, because I believe that creativity can spark from anywhere. An imagination can spark from anywhere. An idea can be sparked from anywhere. And that has happened to me so many times where I have seen a post that I'm like, that's not true. But that does make me think of this story or this scenario. Or, you know what? I'm really into this concept right now. A world in which this is possible, or this is the truth. And I think that's interesting, right? That's far more interesting. And I love that. Or setting up debates or discussions about why this should be debunked, or how we can debunk this, going back and forth and having a conversation where somebody debunks it. I think that's so good. I also personally, when I have said something that just wasn't true before, I leave it up sometimes. Sometimes I do. I leave it up there, partially because I think it's kind of funny. I think it's kind of funny. And I know that we're in a time right now, we're in a space right now where we are kind of dissecting what funny is and like what should be allowed as humor and as comedy, which is a whole different topic and discussion. But I personally think that me saying something that isn't true, or saying something that I believe to be true that was just completely wrong, or a theory that I had and then finding out that it was completely false, is kind of like, hey, if that brightens somebody else's day, why not? Or teaches somebody else via the comment section or via their own research. I think that's kind of everything. And it also can showcase a piece of somebody's personality. Like, now you know that that's how I am as a person sometimes. Or, you know, I don't know. I think that there's a lot more pros to it than there are cons. Because the con is that somebody believes this thing, and yeah, that probably could be very dangerous, but that shouldn't really be on the poster. That should be on that own person, that person who decided to blindly believe something, when we're in a day and age of information, where at any point somebody could research something that they want to. And it's been this way for a long time now. So it's like, get with the program. And it really isn't my fault if you decide to take that piece of information and run with it. Yeah. And that might even be if I frame something or share something that was framed in a way as though it was truth. Take everything as though it might not be true and look at it for yourself. Find several sources that prove your case right. And if you choose not to, and if you choose to live in this world of who cares, and maybe it doesn't matter if it's true or false, like, that's okay too. That's that person's choice to live in that headspace. Sometimes that's me. Sometimes I will be scrolling online and I will see a post and I'm like, is that true? And I don't really care that much to research it. That takes too much of my time and my energy that I am conserving for other aspects of my life. And I don't care if I know what the truth about that or not. Okay. But that possibility of it being true could have sparked some interest in my own imagination, and that's far more valuable to me. You know? Some people don't agree with this stance. And you know what? All right. There's not much I can say to that except for, okay. You know? I can't really force anybody to have that same opinion or stance. Obviously. But, I don't know. I don't know what to say, because I think a lot of the people on that side of things get very heated when they do see misinformation online, and they get very upset at the people who do reshare misinformation online, and that is, I mean, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? They're upset, and I guess we just leave them to be upset. I don't know. Because I think also an inherent truth about life is that there are some things that are, I don't want to say unknowable, but there are some things that have differing opinions and different scientific studies on either side. And I think the issue is that there's a lot of people who believe that there's always one singular truth, one singular truth about science. And I'm not going to say that I don't believe that there is one singular truth, but I think at this point in this day and age, sometimes it's hard to know what is one singular truth. And so dictating what somebody posts and claiming that that just isn't truth, and that we all have to collectively as a group take down anything that isn't inherent truth, is super controlling. And I don't know, I'm a person who loves my internal freedom of expression in all ways, and if you really want to know enough about something, then you can dig deep and research both sides and see what both sides are saying and decipher for yourself, or find and discover the truth for yourself. That's all. That's that. I just don't think that it's very plausible for us. Well, it is plausible, but I don't think it should be plausible for us to collectively decipher what is the ultimate truth and take down the rest. I'll just use one example of why this might be problematic. This side of things might be problematic, is that for a while there, people were saying adrenal fatigue isn't real. Adrenal fatigue isn't real. It's just not real. Okay. There's a lot of doctors who didn't know what adrenal fatigue was. A lot of them. I don't think that works that way. Huh? Because I went to a different doctor and they said it did. So how can you go to two doctors in the same town and they're both saying different things? No. To me, I'm just like, okay, like, there are a lot of people who would go with that first doctor and run with what they say and go, okay, it's not a real thing, and all I have to do is, eat right and focus on exercising to lose this weight, which is also very bad for your adrenals if you over-exercise. But, you could do that and completely spiral down. But because that doctor is a doctor, they have a doctorate degree, they should know about these things. They said no, that was not the case. I mean, and science is always changing, always evolving, always growing. And it's like, what? Like, so we're all collectively going to say that that fact isn't, or that thing that you shared is wrong until science proves otherwise. And then, hey, welcome back to the club. Facebook has unbanned you now. Like, that's terrible, because the whole time they would have been correct when the world was against them and saying you're spreading misinformation. Are we just going to sit down and wait until science proves in the next 5-10 years for what we said and posted a couple years ago to be revealed as truth? Because that has happened a lot in recent years. It's probably always happened, but it's happened, to my knowledge, a lot in recent years about things in my life. And I'm like, wow, so this is coming out that it was true. Or this theory that I had, this theory that I've had theories that I've looked into and come up with not a whole lot on Google. Maybe if I would have dug deeper, it probably would have. Oh, well, that's on me. But I've had theories that I'm like, if I would have posted this, they probably would have taken it down for false information. And when I would talk to people about these theories, they were like, no, I don't think so. And then I would see lectures and studies, actual studies coming out about these theories that I've had. So I don't know. Knowledge is this beautiful thing, that to me, it just shows that we really can't be controlling what people post and ideas that people have and share, even if they seem to be false, obviously false. And who knows what that could spark? It could spark the next best-selling novel. That little piece of misinformation that seems toxic to you, that seems like we need to take that down before somebody hurts themselves, that could create the next best-selling novel that helps the next generation of kids want to become authors. It could. We don't know that. And I think we should give it the opportunity, because people also have the opportunity to research and really dig deep if they want to find the true answer about something. Some people won't take the time, and that's not on me. That's really not on me. That's not on anybody. Sometimes I don't want to take the time, and that's not on the person who posted it. It's not. It's on me. It's on me for not digging deep on a topic. And I do realize that misinformation can spread by word of mouth, but that isn't on the original person either. Now, I think where we might have issues is when people of great power and great knowledge start perpetuating false information, but that happens on the daily. So, that happens on the daily. Anyway, that's all I have to say about it. But hope you enjoyed this little rant, my little thoughts on this. That's Sophie. Have a good day, you guys.